What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. And tonight we have reason 8042. Why not to sass Judge Webster in Texas? I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I love this judge. Hope you enjoy.
This court's going to call cause number B220312-D. This is in the 163rd District Court of Orange County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Harlow Bennett. Miss Jessica Bennett, I need you to raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air.
Yes, sir, it is.
Miss Jessica Bennett, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Derek Reynolds, raise your right hand, please. Mr. Reynolds, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Ms. Simone, does the state have any other witnesses besides the parties?
No, sir.
All right. Your case has been called. You can call your first witness.
Thank you. The state will call Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett, would you state your full name for the court's record, please?
Jessica Colleen Bennett.
Okay, and what is the name of the child we're here for today?
Harlow Emerson Bennett.
Okay, and when was Harlow born?
January 11th, 2021.
And how old is Harlow?
2.5.
Okay, and do you and Harlow reside together in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who is Harlow's father?
Derek Reynolds.
Okay, at this time, the state will move for the admission of the genetic test results for Harlow as State's Exhibit A.
Ms. Bennett, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results between you, the child Harlow, and the alleged father, Derek Reynolds. Is it okay if I look at these DNA test results?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Reynolds, is it okay if I look at these DNA test results?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Based on the admission into evidence of State's Exhibit A, the court's going to find that DNA testing was completed in this case. Based on the results of the DNA test, I'm going to find that the alleged father, Mr. Derek Reynolds, is hereby found to be the biological and now the legal father of the child Harlow Bennett. Go ahead, Ms. Sloan.
Okay, and what would you like Harlow's last name to be?
I would like it to remain as Bennett, please,
Okay, and why do you believe that's in her best interest?
because that's also my other children's last name, and I do not plan to change my last name back to my maiden name when I am divorced from Christopher. I will be keeping Bennett myself.
And were you and Mr. Reynolds ever in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am, we were very briefly.
Hey, when did you tell Mr. Reynolds that he could be Harlow's father?
He knew the exact day that I found out that I was pregnant, which was beginning of May in 2020. He also went with me to my first appointment at the Hope Center, which I believe was May 16th of 2020. He was present for that. We briefly carried an on and off relationship for the next couple of months, and then things ended.
And since Harlow was born, has Mr. Reynolds ever provided any financial support?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking the court to set back child support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who does Harlow live with?
She lives with me and her 2 siblings
Okay. How long has she lived with you?
since the day she was born.
And who makes the important decisions for her?
I do.
Who makes the day-to-day decisions?
I do.
And when did Mr. Reynolds last see her?
He has never seen her.
Okay. So Mr. Reynolds currently has no relationship with Harlow.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. And what type of health insurance does Harlow have?
She's currently on Medicaid.
Okay, I'll go ahead and pass this witness.
Call your next witness.
The state will call Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, would you state your full name for the court's record, please?
Derek Claude Reynolds.
Okay, and you are Harlow's father, correct?
Yeah, it's what it says.
Okay, and what do you want Harlow's last name to be?
Bennett. He wants it Bennett.
And were you and Miss Bennett in a relationship?
Very briefly.
Okay. Have you ever provided financial support for Harlow?
Nope, because I didn't know she was mine.
Okay. When did you find out that she was yours?
About 2 minutes ago.
And who does Harlow live with?
Jessica Bennett.
And who makes the major life decisions for Harlow?
Jessica
And
Bennett.
who makes the day-to-day decisions?
Jessica Bennett.
Okay. And have you ever seen Harlow?
No, ma'am.
And you have no relationship with her?
Not at all.
Are you presently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where do you work?
A1 Peterson Plumbing.
Okay. How long have you worked there?
5 years.
Okay. And are you paid hourly or a salary?
Hourly.
Okay. And how much do you make per hour?
21 an hour.
Okay. And do you work 40 hours per week?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work any overtime?
Sometimes.
Do you have any health insurance available through your job?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any other biological children under the age of 18?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many children do you have?
I have 3 of my own and 2 stepchildren
Okay.
that live with me.
Okay. So you have 3 biological children that live with you?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pass this witness.
Call you next week.
I have no other witnesses.
Y'all be patient with me just 1 second, please.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Simone, you need to call a witness for child support calculations, please.
Yes, sir. Can we swear in Ms. Swallow, please?
Raise your right hand, Ms. Wallen. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I can't calculate child support in Orange County.
Oh,
I don't have a strong enough internet connection in the county courthouse to be able to go to multiple different websites. Ms. Swallow, I need to know what the net income is on $3,640, please.
What's the medical? What are you allowing?
That's a great question. Do 50.
With 3 other dependents, it is $447.16. I'm sorry, the net resources are $3,031.58.
Thank you. And you said it was 447?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You have any questions, Ms. Simone?
no, sir.
All right. Let's see. So we've still got some issues here we need to try to diagnose and dissect a little bit. Now, Mr. Reynolds, Miss Bennett told me that when she found out she was pregnant, that you and her were on again, off again. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you in fact go with her at least one time to a doctor visit when she became pregnant?
Yes, I did. And right after that, she told me to sign my rights away and we'll never see child support court.
All right. So, is that true, Miss Bennett? Did you tell him that he could give away his rights?
No, sir, I did not tell him.
All
I still
right.
got the text message.
Stop. We're not arguing here. I'll ask the question and you answer my question. It's that simple, okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
All right. Generally speaking, I don't go back and forth anyway, but I did on that one. I'll try not to do it again. All right. So you did have some idea, Mr. Reynolds, that you were the father of this child.
Me and about 3 other guys.
Well, maybe. Whether a number of other guys that could have been the father of the child, the simple fact of the matter is that Miss Bennett did tell you, in fact, that you were the father. Is that correct?
She stated it.
Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Reynolds. Don't play games with me in words, Mr. Reynolds. You're going to lose. I do words for a living. All right. So, and you in fact did go with her to at least one doctor's appointment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Reynolds, in a case like this where you're a newly discovered father, you still have contact and visitation rights, you understand?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to award you some of those. Now, you haven't had any contact with this child, and so you're going to have to get to know this child before you just get full-blown access and visitation rights, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to give you some of those rights, but I have another question for you. Do you intend to exercise them?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now that you know that you're Harlow's father, you want to be involved with Harlow's life?
Without a doubt. Yes, sir.
All right. That's important to me. When was the last time you actually talked to Miss Bennett?
About 2 months ago, right before the DNA
All right.
testing.
Had there been a long period before that where you hadn't had any contact with Miss Bennett?
Yeah, it'd been at least probably 6 months.
Okay. So sometimes you guys did contact each other back and forth?
It was very briefly last year. She told me I was served some papers about this, and I was never actually served papers. Like, that never happened at my old house I lived in.
Right. Well, you know, as I told you when we were setting up for the DNA test, I could have had them bring the papers out to you, but you know, you can't have a DNA test till you get served. So that was one of the things we were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it through my email.
All right. Good enough. Harlow's 2.5 now, Miss Bennett.
Yes, sir.
So, Miss Bennett, Mr. Reynolds is going to get some visitation rights with Harlow. I'd like to hear your opinion about that. How would you like those visitations to happen?
I would like them to be supervised
Okay.
in the beginning due to my work schedule. I work swing shift, so I'm not available from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
On what days?
Currently Friday through Tuesday.
You'll have to change that, Miss Bennett, because his visitation for supervised is going to take place on Saturdays.
Okay. Is it okay if I appoint either my sister or my
You always have the right to send somebody else to supervise the visits for you.
Okay. Can I also ask that his wife or his other children not be present in the beginning just so that she has time to get to know him without distractions?
No. It would be a suggestion that I would offer to Mr. Reynolds, but we don't get to dictate the terms, conditions of how he exercises the visitation as long as he's doing it in a safe manner. I mean,
Okay.
Mr. Reynolds has 3 other children. I'm sure he knows that he probably needs to get to know Harlow on his own first before he introduces, you know, a dozen other siblings. But I'm going to leave that up to him. As a good parent, that's what I'm going to require that he do. All right.
Okay, that's fine.
But I do necessarily agree with you that that's probably something that happens, but I'll leave that up to Mr. Reynolds. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So she's 2.5. I don't know. I'm thinking 6 visits at each phase. I'm thinking 6 supervised visits, then followed by 6 unsupervised visits, followed by 6 unsupervised visits for the day, followed by 6 one-night overnight visits. What that means, Miss Bennett, is he would have 6 visits supervised by you or someone that you designate. When those 6 visits are done, then you'll have 6 visits unsupervised for a half a day. When those 6 are done, then you'll have 6 visits unsupervised for the whole day. When those 6 visits are done, you'll get his first overnights, but they'll only be one night overnight. And once those 6 visits are done, then you'll have standard possession after that. So if he does every visit, it's going to take him 3 months at each phase. So that's going to take him at least a year before he has standard possession. That means that Harlow's gonna be 3.5, which puts her past the 3-year age gap, okay?
Okay.
All right, does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes, sir.
Sounds reasonable to me too. Anything further from the state?
No, sir.
All right. Miss Bennett, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir. I just want to do what's in the best interest of Harlow.
I hope so. I'm gonna give you guys a plan, and a framework, and hopefully y'all can make it work for her from this point forward.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reynolds, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
No, I think there is some shade of gray in regards to the retroactive child support in this case. So I just did what I thought was in Harlow's best interest. The court's going to find a courthouse jurisdiction in this case. The court's going to find that it is certainly in Harlow's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators, with Miss Bennett as the parent with the right to establish the primary residence of Harlow. I'm not changing the last name of the child. The parents have asked me not to do so. So the child's last name will remain Bennett. I'm gonna give Mr. Reynolds visitation through no fault of his own. He will have to get to know Harlow first before he can just have unfettered access through standard. There'll be a phased-in visitation schedule, Ms. Simone, with 6 visits at each phase. That'll be 6 supervised visits on the Saturday afternoons, 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday. When those 6 supervised visits are finished, then you'll have 6 unsupervised visits from 1 to 4 on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month. When those 6 visits are done, you'll have 6 visits unsupervised for the day. That'll be every 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday until 6 visits are done. When that phase is completed, then Mr. Reynolds will have 6 one-night overnight visits, Saturday at 6 to Sunday at 6, also on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of the month. When that last phase is completed, then Mr. Reynolds shall have standard possession. Obviously, if Mr. Reynolds and Miss Bennett agree to a different schedule, they are certainly within their right to do so, as long as they do it as an agreement by the parents. If there is no agreement, then my schedule must be followed. I'll order Miss Bennett to maintain the health insurance that she has on the child. Mr. Reynolds is going to pay child support as per the wage information that he provided to me. I will give him credit, obviously, for the 3 other dependents that he has in this household. Child support in this case will be $445 a month, with an additional $50 a month in cash medical. Those payments will begin July the 1st of 2023. Mr. Reynolds will be required to pay retroactive child support. Retroactive child support in this case is going to be $5,785. I'm going to order Mr. Reynolds to pay that back at a rate of $30 per month, each and every month, starting July the 1st of 2023 until it's paid in full. Court cost will be paid by Mr. Reynolds, but I'll give him until December 31st of 2023 to pay my court cost. Ms. Simone, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions about the form, Ms. Simone?
No, sir.
Mr. Reynolds and Ms. Bennett, what's going to happen now is Ms. Simone's office is going to send me an order. If it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it, get it back to them, and they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reynolds, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No. Ms. Bennett, do you have any questions?
The only question I do have is, are there geographical restrictions placed
No.
on this?
Not in Orange County. You
Okay.
are, however, required, Ms. Bennett, if you intend to move, you are required to send Mr. Reynolds notice of your intent to move and where you intend to move to within 30 days of the date that you move. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I'm going to need to ask you, Derek, to please send me your current address. I signed tomorrow on a piece of property in Jasper County. I plan to move there within 6 to 8 months, so I'll need to get that to you.
It'll be in the court order that I send you, Miss Bennett, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and if we do everything that we're supposed to do, Mr. Reynolds, you won't, by the time you get to the one night overnights, you won't have the drive anymore because you're just going back and forth to Jasper.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Oh, wait, that's actually not exactly true. The court order that I'm going to sign today is what we call a pickup and return order. Right now, Mr. Reynolds would be required to come to Miss Bennett's home and pick up Harlow and bring Harlow back to Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett, if you move to Jasper County, that means you will have changed the counties of residence. Mr. Reynolds will no longer be required to pick up and return the child to you. He will only be required to pick up the child from you, and you will be required to pick up the child back from him. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. That's not an issue.
It's always funny to me, though, that people don't actually read the court order that I sign and don't understand that there's some terms in there they need to be aware of if things change in the future. Okay.
Yes, sir. That's why I brought it up. I just wanted clarity.
And y'all can always agree to meet halfway. I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, you can always do that to save your both some driving, and it still comes out to be the same. You're both driving about half the distance.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I don't know if I can put into words how much I love Judge Webster from Texas. Please let me know what you thought in the comments down below. It helps me so much. Also, don't be a dick. Subscribe. Bye.